Hello everyone, in this video I'll be talking to you about reasons why you won't be hired in Japan as an IT worker, mostly an engineer or web developer. The majority of viewers in this channel are not living or working in IT in Japan, so I hope to give you 5 reasons of why you won't be hired as an engineer in Japan. I have no idea if I have 5 reasons or not. It's just good for the algorithm. So sit back, relax, and don't drink wine this time. I'm slowing down on wine, gotta think about their diet. I usually pour a glass of the finest cheap wine from my local convenience store, but today I'm not gonna do it. And remember, I always say, don't take everything I say as the ultimate truth. I don't control IT all over Japan. I'm just one of the channels that talks about it. I've been a soy dev for around 8.5 years now. I don't know why I said 0.5, but I've been here for 8 years programming coding at mostly small to medium-sized companies. So I don't know about the FANG scene. I don't know about the English-speaking companies. I'm just telling you what I see in the trenches of Tokyo. So if this triggers, annoys, or angers some of you, please feel free to put it in the comment sections below, because it helps with the algorithm and also gives me something to do with my spare time. Let's get straight into this. Let's go straight to the data. What is the data telling us? Not that I didn't make this data up, so let's see what Japanese websites are saying. We say here there's not enough, average age, okay. This is not what we want. We don't want this. Oh, it says here 800,000 people by 2030. Okay, I'm not going to speak Japanese. I've already done that and that sounds really silly. So there's going to be a shortage of 800,000 people in the IT sector in Japan. I'll link it down below. Another website, Duda, which is a job search website, I think. Same kind of numbers. By 2030, 790,000 people. There will be a shortage of skilled workers in IT. Keyword being skilled. So the numbers are there. I didn't make this up, and we're going to talk about this now. So I have noticed in some of my videos in the comment section, or even comment section anywhere where it's about the workers shortage in Japan and IT, there are some people who get quite salty that, why don't they take me? Or they say something like, where's my visa? It's quite a salty boy look, but I think I'd like to explain a bit more about this. Not that these people are salty, but why is it that they're not just taking every salty boy around the world who wants to work in IT in Japan? It's not so simple like that. Just because they have let's say a 700,000 shortage of skilled workers, do you think some people are so simple-minded when they see these kind of like immigration numbers where they think, okay, we're going to get 100,000 from this country, 100,000 in this country, jump right in, and everything's going to be fine. Even people who think, and this is where this is going to immigration stuff, might get banned, who cares? Even people who think that because they have the skills, they should be in the country, and that's not, you're being simple-minded here, and I mean that with all due respect. Don't mind this guy here. I mean this respectfully. It's quite simple-minded to think of things this way. Even if you have 800,000 skilled workers, it just won't work in Japan. And look, I'll be here 5 years later saying, yeah, see, I told you. I'm not against it. I'm a foreigner myself. But let's go into it, because the reason I am so sure of this is because I'll show you now. About a year ago, the purpose of this channel was to help connect foreign engineers to local Japanese companies, small to medium-sized companies. I made a form, and that form started off with 45 responses here, but it eventually got to around 100, and I had 10 small companies that I have worked with or I've known over the years. And the reason why I know all these companies is because I was selling Vietnamese engineers to Japanese small to medium-sized IT companies. So I had quite a few connections which I could just quickly give a message and ask, hey, can you give me your email? I'll automatically send, once the engineer fills in the information, it will directly go to that client. So that's what I was trying to streamline, the connection of foreign engineers to small to medium-sized Japanese companies. It just didn't work. I tried as much as I could. I had a few emails of people I knew who were willing to have a look. And then I posted this about a year ago on my LinkedIn. And that's the reason why I'm pretty sure I've got this more or less sorted out. Some of the viewers here already know this, like you already know it. Some of you don't know it, or some of you know it and don't want to accept it. And some of you don't really care, you just want to see a bit of banter on my channel. So we're going to explain all of this in this video. So I'm putting up data that I tried, but I also talked one-on-one with many CEOs and CTOs of these small to medium-sized companies. Small companies, something like 10, 20 people, mid-sized companies, under 100, 200 people. Reason number one, you don't speak Japanese. This is the foundations of all civilization. What am I talking about? Look, you just don't speak the language. And look, it's not a mean thing. I'm not trying to be mean, or it's not a diss at people who don't speak Japanese. You saw my video about Japanese. You saw me speak it. I'm pretty trash myself. Oh, good. But I can get the job done. I even have a guy in my community who seems like a smart, young, bright web developer or engineer. The only problem is that when he went to the interview is that he didn't have business Japanese. That's just the way it is. And so even though you have the, let's say, 800,000 shortage, you have to find 800,000 people who can speak Japanese. I think they're trying to do it with Vietnam. They're trying to, some of these companies are, but I don't know. I'll save the Vietnam and Japan IT industry for a different video. Bringing 800,000 workers and bringing them into Japan, it's not a simple task. Most of the guys in this channel are somewhat studying Japanese at some point. Some of them even have N1, but the majority of them don't even have N3 and can barely communicate with your average Japanese person. I don't need to say anything more about this. So that's point number one. Point number two, you don't understand Japanese culture. A simple example is this. This is an American professor called Steve Brule. Apparently he called sushi sandwiches. So he's quite far off culturally. So he's way far off in understanding Japanese culture. The gentleman on the left here says hi, and he says hi. So obviously there is not even just the language, the culture is quite different. And when I talk to these CTOs or CEOs about foreigners working in their company, they even said, what if they're good at N2? What if they have great N2 and they can speak quite a bit? He was worried about a few things, and this is to do with culture. This one's going to trigger some people, but they said, he said, kukiyomenai. Kukiyomenai means like you can't read the room, the atmosphere. Someone's probably going to correct me in the comment section. This culture is is it high context? High context, right? So you have to understand what's happening in the room. You have to understand, okay, that's the senpai, I'm the kohai. When he does this, I do this, and that guy does this. There's all these unwritten rules that you kind of have to know what's happening. And this manager guy said, like, he would love to, but I don't know why he thought, but he's probably right though, is that people don't know how to work culturally together. I'll give you a real simple example is when someone says in Japan, oh, what's your opinion? You don't just say your opinion straight away. Well, at least I don't. I usually hold it unless it's really important. Even if it's in my mind, I don't just say it straight away. If it was somewhere in New Zealand, I'll just speak it straight away because maybe that's the type of culture that we have. That's just one of the examples of how foreigners don't understand the culture. And I think sometimes salty boys get angry that they have to learn a culture of another country. It's something strange which I'm seeing a bit more with maybe Western or maybe English speakers, that because a country or some salty boys are angry because they don't want to work in that culture. And you don't have to. That's the part. Like, you don't have to, and you don't have to force that culture or that way to work onto another country. You can try, but let's historically see what happens when you try to mess with people's culture, right? And I know there's going to be people saying, oh yeah, but it's changing. Yeah, it's changing in Tokyo. It's changing in Shibuya maybe with a few small companies, but this country in a whole is still quite Japanese in a way. And yeah, I'm not going to get banned or anything. I'm just saying what is. So if you want to, you just go type away. no worries, all good. Point number 3, no degree. Mostly the no degree part is for the working visa. They can't sponsor you without it. That's immigration issues, right? Yes and no as well. So I think in Asia, especially Asia, a degree is quite important. It's quite important in Asia. Ask any guy in Korea how important a degree is or university is. So there are still companies in Japan who really care about degrees, not just for the immigration part. Some companies will prefer, of course, companies prefer that you have some type of degree. And if you have a degree in IT or in computer science, it's great. But in general, the no degree issue is immigration. And that's something I've seen a lot of the people who filled in my forms and also people in this community. The good part is that you don't have to have a degree, of course, if you've been researching any of this, if you have 10 years experience in the IT field, or if you have an ITPIC certificate, which I've made a video about, and I'll just add it to the description below. There is also a French guy in my community, which I did an interview explaining how he was able to work in Japan without a degree. Of course, there are ways, but in general, this is one of the most common reasons why people cannot work in Japan. Reason number 4, no skills or low skills. Yes, I brought up Udemy, and it's this is not skill shaming. I'm not skill shaming. I'm just saying doing a few tutorials will not get you the job. And some people are asking me, do people actually apply for these jobs with a Udemy course? Yes. I'm not joking about this. They do. Ask any recruiter. Of course, you get highly skilled people applying for jobs, but you get people with one calculator app. And I'm not making fun of calculator apps. You can make a great calculator app. Yes, I know that. But if you come up to a company with a Udemy course for a few weeks, they look at your GitHub and it's just the same as a Udemy course. They're not wasting the time on that. It's a waste of time. So with our 800,000 shortage does not mean a Udemy course person can just jump straight into a company and start making that yen. Okay, we've got to be realistic, guys. Trust me, I know. I'm a millennial. Millennials were given participation certificates growing up. I got participation certificates growing up, and it made me weak. They should have just told me I was dumb or something, and I would have worked harder. But I know what it means. I know what it's like to feel stupid. But this does not get you a job. Okay, I'm telling you. Trust me. I taught myself how to code. Look, I tell everyone who's new to this, spend a year. A year. Yes. If you spend 1 year doing something and really focus on it, it shows that you're putting in the work over 1 year. Doing something for 2 or 3 weeks and coming to me and saying, oh man, they didn't hire me, what's wrong? And no, bro, you just did 2 weeks of a course. Even a boot camp after 3 months. Congratulations, you spent what, $15,000, $10,000? I sound like I'm being mean, but I'm only helping you to understand this so you don't get hyped up. You don't hype yourself up. You hype yourself up, then when you start applying for jobs, you get rejected and you don't know why. Probably no one really told you straight. So I'm telling you straight. Okay, next one. There are too many people selling shovels to dig for gold, not really working, I think. The main points I want to say is that this is not easy stuff, okay? I know that there is an increase of weebs around the world, which is good, it's great. It helps me sell this 5 times more 5 years from now. The shortage does not mean that they want to take anyone who's interested in Japan. So I just Google searched Weeb cringe, and this came up, one of the images. The way I see it nowadays is there are so many people interested in Japan, and it's mostly some type of Weeb community, or maybe they like summarize, fair enough. We all have our interests. But this is not easy stuff. I'm trying my best myself with web development with Japanese, and I'm not even that great, to be honest, but I'm making it work. There has been an increase of young people interested in Japan, and then when they see things like job opportunities, they just apply. And I know it's not their fault because they don't really know who to ask or find out what is involved in working IT in Japan. I just hope that if you watch this video, you can understand not exactly what I just think, but CEOs and CTOs I talk to in Japan. Once you find that out, you can make your own path. You can make your own path to get here. And I'm not saying it's impossible for you. I think it's totally possible. I know a few guys who, well, I just say I know a few guys who did it in different ways, but if you just stick to it, set your goals. Something so simple, N2 sounds simple, but you just have to do it. Get your N2, get some experience, take your time, don't have to rush it. The point of this video is don't hype yourself up way too much, because you're going to get hurt and you might give up. And I never want people to give up because of this video. This video's purpose is not to give up. It's to understand that this is not easy. There is a shortage, which is the good point of this video is that there is a shortage. If you apply yourself correctly, it might take 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. You might have to be like the French guy, save up, study Japanese at an IT school, work at McDonald's in your spare time, right? Just to pay his bills, and now he's working in an IT company in Japan. It's not FANG, okay? It's not Silicon Boys. It's not Silicon Boys around here. It's honest, hard day's work. I hope that message is clear in this video. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm not weeb shaming. I might look like it with this video up, with this screenshot up. I had to get some of you guys emotionally triggered, and I hope it can push some of you a little bit harder to get here and work in IT. I think that's the main message here. And maybe if you're not willing to put in 2 or 3 years of studying Japanese, or a year and a half of trying to get good at Next.js or whatever soy stack is out, maybe it's not what you really want to do. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think. Did I miss something? Did I go a little over the top here? For you, do you think it's a waste of your time to get good at Japanese and get good at some soy stack? Is it worth it? Maybe it's not worth it for you. Maybe it's good in your country. Anyway, that's the video for today. Like, sub, comment, and cheers to a good old pal, Jonah Takalua. He's back in Tonga. He's doing well. Thanks, everyone. I'll see you next time.